Jiang Yining was transmigrated to a cultivation world and became the master of the Qianyang sect. Unfortunately, the sect was broke and he only had 3 disciples. Just as everything was about to fall even further apart, he received the Golden Finger. To make it even more interesting, the Golden Finger was an idle cultivation game that Jiang Yining had played in his previous world. Welcome back, longtime player. You will inherit your old account that has been idled for 1,000,000 years. From the game, Jiang Yining could receive martial arts, resources, fates, buildings, skills, and even spiritual roots from checking in and completing quests. He vowed that he would use the rewards to grow his own sect. In the world of cultivation existed prestigious families, sects, kingdoms, and even celestial sects. Everyone's goal was to ascend to a celestial being. However, years later, Jiang Yining and his Qianyang sect sat on the long river and looked down at the people still struggling in the celestial realm. In a dilapidated wooden hut in Lingyun sect, Kanglan region, a young man laid on the bed, unconscious. Where am I? Jiang Yining opened his eyes tiredly. The first thing he saw was an unfamiliar room. The herbal scent in the room assailed Jiang Yiming's nose while he was lying on the bed with gauze wrapped all over his body. The intense pain in Jiang Yiming's body made him realize that he was severely injured. What happened to me? Jiang Yiming endured the pain and grunted through his gritted teeth. That was when he felt a stabbing pain in his head. Dozens of unfamiliar information flooded into his mind, and in the end, Jiang Yiming fainted. After a long time, Jiang Yiming woke up again with a bitter smile on his face. Jiang Yiming realized that he had transmigrated. He had transmigrated from Earth to a cultivation world called the Ethereal Realm. That realm was a world where people with absolute power took control. It was where the strong established order and preyed on the weak. It was a survival game for the weak. In the Ethereal Realm, powerful cultivators could fly through the sky and ascend to immortality. There were also precious elixirs that could bring the dead back to life and magical treasures with boundless power. The realm also had all kinds of powerful forces, clans, sects, and royals. Everyone in the Ethereal Realm wanted to achieve immortal ascension. The Ethereal Realm had 9 provinces. Each province contained several regions in it. Jiang Yiming's identity was the sect leader of a humble sect in the Kanglan region called the Lingyun sect. The sects and forces in Kanglan region were of different ranks. The ranks were from the 5th rank to the 1st rank. Legend had it that above the 1st rank was the immortal celestial sect. A 3rd rank sect named Huiyan sect was responsible for Jiang Yiming's injuries. In the Kanglan region, all the weaker sects had to ask the higher rank sect for protection to ensure the survival of their sect. Otherwise, countless sects and forces would eliminate and overpower the weaker sect, which would lead to the destruction of the sect. The Lingyun sect was a 4th rank sect. However, the sect's rank had fallen to the 5th rank or worse due to an unforeseen event. The Lingyun sect was now in ruins, with only devastated buildings left. The magnificent buildings were gone, leaving only sparse wooden. The sect had only 3 disciples left, not to mention the extravagant buildings like the Pavilion of Cultivation Scrolls and Pavilion of Alchemy, which were gone too. The entire sect's heritage was gone now, and not even a single core formation technique was left. The Lingyun sect could only seek protection from the Huiyan sect to continue their legacy. However, the protection was naturally not free of charge. Every year, the Lingyun sect had to give the Huiyan sect plenty of spirit stones as offerings in exchange for their protection. Yet, the Lingyun sect's situation was only getting worse than before. They didn't even have enough spirit stones to offer that year. A few days ago, the representatives from the Huiyan sect came to Jiang Yiming. Jiang Yiming wanted to negotiate with them, hoping they could give him some time to gather enough spirit stones to offer. However, he didn't expect the representatives of the Huiyan sect to be so cold-hearted and even beat him up. They also ordered the Lingyun sect to hand over the offering within a month, or else the Lingyun sect would lose the protection of the Huiyan sect. But the Lingyun sect had nothing to offer at the moment. They wouldn't be able to gather so many spiritual stones, even if they emptied all their assets. That bast *RT Huiyan sect. Jiang Yiming clenched his fist as frustration grew in him and his gaze turned cold. Nominally, the Huiyan sect was the protector of the Lingyun sect, but they had not fulfilled their duties as the Lingyun sect's protector and had only been taking the offerings. Recently, many sects had been looking for trouble in the Lingyun sect. However, Huiyan sect had always turned a blind eye every time Lingyun sect needed their protection. Yet, Huiyan sect had the nerve to continue accepting the offerings from Lingyun sect, which was shameless and unethical. Looks like I have no other choice. Jiang Yiming quickly calmed himself down and sighed. He felt helpless. Although he knew that Huiyan sect was making things difficult for him, he had no other way to deal with the situation they were facing now. The only thing he could do was think of some way to get more of those spirit stones. After all, Huiyan sect was powerful. Not only did the sect have nascent soul realm elders, but there were also rumors that they had ancestors of incarnation realm. Their strength was unfathomable. The first few realms of cultivations were body forging realm, chi meditation realm, foundation establishment realm, core formation realm, nascent soul realm, and incarnation realm. The nascent soul realm was already a powerful existence that could split mountains with one punch, not to mention the legendary incarnation realm. Lingyun sect could not defeat Huiyan sect Sect even in its former peak state. Its ability was far inferior from Huiyun Sect's ability back then, not to mention now that it had almost perished. The Lingyun Sect would be only destroying their sect if they tried to fight against Huiyun Sect. Moreover, there were some 4th rank and 5th rank forces that were aiming to own Lingyun Sect. Those sects might not dare to harm the Lingyun Sect because they were afraid of Huiyun Sect. Lingyun Sect would be the target of those aiming for them if they lost protection from the Huiyun Sect. Lingyun Sect would only perish tragically without even needing Huiyun Sect to destroy them. I must be unlucky enough to encounter such a troublesome issue so soon after transmigration. Jiang Yiming lifted his head and glanced at the surrounding environment. All he saw was the interior part of the shabby hut. There weren't any decorations at all. It looked rather bleak. The Lingyun Sect had already fallen to such a pathetic state. Even Jiang Yiming, as the sect leader, lived in such a shabby hut. Isn't this situation a little troublesome for a start? Jiang Yiming mocked himself. He looked a little disappointed. Ding! Sect stimulation system is activating. Activation progress 1%, 2%, 3%. Just as Jiang Yiming was feeling despair, a cold mechanical voice sounded in his mind. Jiang Yiming froze. When he realized what was going on, his mood brightened. His whole-time hobby was reading online novels before he transmigrated. Every transmigrated character in the books he read would have a cheat tool. Their cheat tool was necessary for those people who transmigrated like him to survive in the transmigrated world. As expected, Jiang Yiming got his cheat tool almost right after transmigrating. The Sect simulation system. That is the name of the game I played. Jiang Yiming recalled something when he heard the name of the system. He had played an idle immortal cultivation game out of boredom in his last birth. The name of the game was Sect Simulation Game, just like the system. However, Jiang Yiming didn't ponder much about it. System, it's up to you now. Lingyun Sect doesn't have much time left. Jiang Yiming muttered as the look of anticipation glowed in his eyes. Now that the Lingyun Sect was in such a desperate situation, their only hope was the system he had obtained. Soon, the notification sound from the system rang in Jiang Yiming's mind again. Ding! Sect Stimulation System. Activation progress 100%. Activation successful. A light blue screen appeared before him as soon as the system spoke. Jiang Yiming's eyes widened in disbelief. The screen showed an interface exactly like the idle immortal cultivation game he had played last birth. Ding! Gamer Jiang Yiming detected online. Do you wish to take over the Celestial King's account? Chapter 2. Chapter 2. After staying online for millions of thousands of years, the Celestial King returns and gains benefit. A memory suddenly appeared in the depths of his mind. Jiang Yiming clearly remembered that in his previous life, he had managed to reach the highest level in the idle immortal cultivation game because he had spent enough time and energy on it. The highest level was the Celestial King. In other words, he could inherit his game account from his previous life. Thinking of this, an extremely excited expression flashed across Jiang Yiming's face as he said without hesitation, yes. In an instant, the light blue screen in front of him started to slowly change. The Sect simulator is designed to help players establish the strongest sect. By signing in, completing missions, and staying online, players can obtain cultivation techniques, resources, buildings, skills, spiritual talents, and other items to strengthen themselves and their sects. Binding players sect, Lingyun Sect. Binding complete. Commencing inheritance of Celestial King account. Ding! You have received the return of the Celestial King gift package *1. Ding! You have received the return of the Celestial King privilege lifetime. Ding! Your account has been online for 1,000,000 years. Would you like to receive the rewards? The continuous sound of system notifications entered Jiang Yiming's ears. He didn't hesitate at all. With a thought, he chose to receive the rewards. In an instant, a few golden lights burst out from the screen, showing that he had already received all the rewards. The Celestial King has returned and has stayed online for 1,000,000 years. I wonder what rewards will I receive? Jiang Yiming muttered to himself. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Let's see if there are any surprises in the return gift package first. As soon as he said this, the system screen changed again. A sentence that was emitting golden light appeared on the screen. Opening the return of the Celestial King gift package. Obtained. Green Lotus Creation Technique. Supreme Celestial Demon Body. The Void Shattering Eye. Green Lotus Creation Technique. By cultivating this technique, you can absorb the chi of chaos in the dark, which will purify your spiritual energy and increase your cultivating speed. Supreme Celestial Demon Body. The strongest constitution in the world, with a combination of the Celestial Cultivator's spiritual energy and the demonic cultivator's physical body. The spiritual energy will enhance the physical body, which allows the physical body to be on the same cultivation realm as one's spiritual energy. Shattering Void Eye. Able to see through all illusions and disguises with no regard to cultivation realm. Jiang Yiming looked at the rewards in his backpack in a daze. Waves were crashing in his heart. The Green Lotus Creation Technique could be said to be the most monstrous and magical cultivation technique. In his previous life, his greatest regret in the game was that he had never been able to obtain this cultivation technique. He had never expected that he would be able to directly obtain it from the return gift package. There was also the Supreme Celestial Demon Body, which combined both celestial and demonic traits. It was the strongest constitution in the game and was even envied by the heavens. It was rumored that when one cultivated it in the initial stages, one could already split mountains and cut rivers with one strike of the hand. When one cultivated to its final stages, one could even kill gods and demons at will. Its power was endless. The shattering void I could deal with all illusions and enchantments in the world. It was also one of the items that Jiang Yiming wanted the most in the game in his previous life. These items were treasures that could not be obtained even if one splurged in the game for them. Now, he had obtained them in one go as if they were free. How could Jiang Yiming not be excited? He let out a deep breath. The rewards in the return of the Celestial King gift package were already so rich. How precious would the Celestial King's privilege be? Thinking of this, he couldn't wait any longer. Open the Celestial King's privilege. The system screen flashed with golden light again. Celestial King's privilege 1, mortal to spiritual upgrade. The resources obtained through signing in, completing missions, and staying online will be increased by a grade. Celestial King's privilege 2, best luck forever. With the blessing of the Celestial King, fate and luck will follow, increasing the luck of the disciples under the player's sect. Celestial King privilege 3, transcending karma, shields one's fate. No one can know the player's strength, neither can anyone deduce the existence of the player through divination. Jiang Yiming looked at the 3 Celestial King privileges in shock. In his previous life, he had obtained many privileges as his level increased, but compared to these 3 privileges, they were just weak. In the cultivation world, all the cultivation techniques and magical treasures were strictly divided into different levels. Usually, a difference of just one level would result in a huge difference in strength. However, the mortal to spiritual upgrade could forcefully upgrade the grade of items. Jiang Yiming was stunned for a long time before he slowly said, "This is simply cheating." There was also the best luck forever. The blessing of luck would be of great benefit to his sect. As for the transcending karma, it was simply the best way to preserve one's life. It was rumored that some extremely powerful cultivators could deduce the karma of others through divination. Now that he had this privilege, Jiang Yiming didn't have to worry about being targeted. "Now, I'm looking forward to the rewards of staying online for a million years," Jiang Yiming said in a soft voice. The return gift package and the Celestial King privilege were already so generous. The rewards for staying online for a million years were probably even more jaw-dropping. "System, I want to receive the rewards for staying online for a million years." Jiang Yiming suppressed his excitement and said calmly. Instantly, a golden light flashed on the system interface and lines of notifications appeared. Notification: you have been online for a million years and you have obtained a total of resources as shown below. Celestial crystals 550,000, spirit crystals 660,000, supreme grade spirit stones 770,000, high grade spirit stones 880,000, middle grade spirit stones 990,000, low grade spirit stones 1.29 million. Notification: you have been online for a million years and you have obtained a total of 1.2 million years worth of cultivation. Notification: all the rewards have been placed in the player's backpack. Please check that you have received them. After some time, the reward notifications finally ended. Jiang Yiming believed that the items in his backpack were enough to drive the entire cultivation world crazy. Take the spirit stones as an example. The spirit stones in the cultivation world were divided into 4 grades: low, middle, high, and supreme grade. The exchange rate for each type of spirit stone was 100:1. The Lingyun sect only needed to offer 1,000 low-grade spirit stones to the Huiyun sect every year. But now, Jiang Yiming had 1.29 million low-grade spirit stones in his backpack. On top of the spirit stones, he had extremely rare spirit crystals and celestial crystals. Those were legendary items that even the immortal celestial sect coveted. Jiang Yiming was stayed excited for a moment, but he quickly made up his mind. On the path of cultivation, wealth, lore, land, and a partner were indispensable. These spirit stones were his wealth. In the entire cultivation world, spirit stones were the most basic needed items. Jiang Yiming believed that with the spirit stones, spirit crystals, celestial crystals he had, as well as the green lotus creation technique, he could definitely build the Lingyun sect to be grand and prosperous. Nothing can be done about having to start from scratch again. Since I've come to this world, I'll live well here. At this moment, not only was Jiang Yiming determined, but he was also full of confidence. Following this, the cold mechanical voice of the system sounded again. Ding! The player has successfully received all the rewards. The system's function is officially activated. Ding! The player has triggered the main quest. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Supreme Celestial Demon Body, Green Lotus Creation Technique. The cold mechanical voice of the system suddenly sounded in his mind. Ding! Mission triggered. Type: main storyline. Mission name: Rise of the Sun. Mission requirements: the sect is currently in ruins. Please raise your strength to the core formation realm and restore the sect. Current progress 0-2. Mission reward: Yin Yarn Scripture. Jiang Yiming sighed nostalgically when he saw the sudden mission issued by the system. He was too familiar with this page. It was exactly the same as what he had seen in the game he had played back then. The main missions had to be completed. Only when the current mission was completed would the next main mission would be launched. Raise my strength and restore the sect. Huh? This mission can be considered urgent, Jiang Yiming muttered to himself as a glint flashed across his eyes. Since this was a main mission, he had to do his best to complete it. After all, only after completing this mission would the system issue the next main mission. Jiang Yiming endured the pain in his body and forcefully sat up cross-legged. I should increase my strength first. The cultivation of the early stage foundation establishment realm just isn't enough. Still, I have to recover this broken body first, as Jiang Yiming muttered softly as he searched through his backpack with his eyes. A moment later, his eyes suddenly lit up. The Huaqian pill. With a flip of his hand, a full and round green pill fell into Jiang Yiming's palm. A bunch of information about this pill flashed through his mind. The Huaqian pill, a grade 7 pill. It was refined from Xingyue herb, Kaixia milk, base herb, and various natural treasures. It had the effect of reviving the dead and curing all kinds of diseases. Just by taking the Huaqian pill, even if one only had a breath left, it could still pull one back from the brink of death. In his previous life, this was Jiang Yiming's most valuable trump card in the game. Without any hesitation, Jiang Yiming swallowed the Huaqian pill. In an instant, a warm current spread from the tip of Jiang Yiming's tongue. Then, it spread to his limbs, bones, as well as the acupoints all over his body. Jiang Yiming's body started to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. A moment later, he untied the bandage around his waist. Not even a bruise could be seen. Since my body has recovered, let's start learning the cultivation technique. Feeling that his body had restored to its original state, Jiang Yiming's confidence was greatly boosted and his eyes were bright. With a thought, a golden screen of light appeared in his mind. Above the screen of light were a few large words: Green Lotus Creation Technique. Jiang Yiming felt his heartbeat quicken. This was the most difficult cultivation technique to obtain in the game and was also the most powerful supporting cultivation technique. Jiang Yiming had always had a regret in his previous life, which was that he had never obtained this cultivation technique. He didn't expect that he would be given this cultivation technique upon his return. At this moment, the system's voice sounded in his mind. Do you wish to learn the Green Lotus Creation Technique? Yes, Jiang Yiming didn't hesitate at all. Notification: the player has comprehended the Green Lotus Creation Technique and gained entry-level cultivation. In the next moment, a warm current that made him extremely comfortable swam around in Jiang Yiming's body. His slightly tired body was instantly filled with spiritual energy. Jiang Yiming felt that his body had become much stronger in an instant. As he inhaled and exhaled, green spiritual energy was released. The sudden change stunned Jiang Yiming. He had only just reached the entry level of the Green Lotus Creation Technique, and it already had such a miraculous effect. What if he cultivated it to the initial success level or even the great success level? Thinking of this, he immediately extracted nearly 100 years worth of cultivation from his reward for staying online and used it to raise his level in the Green Lotus Creation Technique. As expected, just like in the game he had once played, the level of the Green Lotus Creation Technique was quickly raised to its highest limits. In an instant, Jiang Yiming suddenly felt weightless, as if his entire body had been engulfed in a green lotus. A moment later, the green lotus blossomed, and a clear and serene aura instantly filled his body. With a casual wave of his hand, extremely solid cyan spiritual energy gushed out like flowing water. The tables and chairs in the room instantly shook and made cracking sounds. Looking at this scene, Jiang Yiming's eyes lit up. It's no wonder the Green Lotus Creation Technique is the strongest supporting technique. I should have reached the great success level of the technique by now, and the strength of my spiritual energy should be more than 10 times stronger than before, if my strength can be raised to. As he thought, Jiang Yiming's eyes grew brighter and brighter. With a thought, he continuously withdrew his cultivation from the system to pour into his body. Vast spiritual energy instantly surged into his body and traveled along his meridians, constantly washing his acupoints and meridians. As time passed, his spiritual energy became more vigorous and his aura became more majestic. His face turned red, and wisps of smoke slowly rose from the top of his head. Jiang Yiming frowned as cold sweat kept dripping down from his forehead, as if he was under great pressure. A moment later, his body suddenly shook. He abruptly opened his eyes, halting his cultivation process. Before he could recover, the system's notification sounded again. Notification: you've used up 10 years of cultivation, and your realm has risen to the late stage of the foundation establishment realm. It's still a bit too much, huh? Jiang Yiming frowned and muttered. He originally wanted to break through to the core formation realm in one go, but the sudden surge of spiritual energy made his body reach the limit of endurance. In the end, Jiang Yiming had no choice but to give up regretfully. It seems that the cultivation can't be extracted indefinitely either. Jiang Yiming shook his head helplessly, but he soon let go of it. Although my current cultivation is only at the late stage of the foundation establishment realm, I will still be able to win even if I fight against someone at the early stage of the core formation realm, he said in a firm tone as he clenched his fists and felt the surging spiritual energy in his body. That was because he also had the supreme celestial demon body, which was the most powerful constitution in the world. Along with the increase in spiritual energy, his physical body had also reached the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm. This was a powerful reason for his confidence. One had to know that physical cultivation was 10 times more difficult than spiritual energy cultivation. The fact that both his physical body and spiritual energy were at the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm, coupled with the Green Lotus creation technique that could increase his spiritual energy by tenfold, Jiang Yiming believed that even a core formation realm cultivator would die in regret when faced with him. The Green Lotus creation technique is so magical. If it is used as the Lingyun Sect's basic cultivation technique, coupled with the various resources from the system rewards, the Lingyun Sect will definitely flourish. Jiang Yiming pondered about how to make the best use of this cultivation technique. At this moment, the sound of light footsteps suddenly came from outside the door. "Master, are you awake?" When Jiang Yiming heard this crisp melodious voice, the figure of a graceful woman immediately appeared in his mind. It was his third disciple, Wang Chaoyu. Chapter 4. The concern from the youngest disciple, Wang Chaoyu. Wang Chaoyu was one of the 3 remaining disciples of the Lingyun Sect. Jiang Yiming had taken her in as a disciple on a trip down the mountain. At that time, the Lingyun Sect had already started to falter, and Jiang Yiming had just become the sect leader. Wang Chaoyu's background seemed to be quite mysterious, and even Jiang Yiming didn't know much about her. However, after spending so much time together, Jiang Yiming could feel that this stubborn and determined girl truly treated the Lingyun Sect as her home. That was enough. "Master, are you awake?" Wang Chaoyu called out softly from outside the door. Jiang Yiming said loudly, "I'm awake. Come in." Creak. The door opened. A graceful and delicate-looking woman slowly walked in. She was wearing a light red dress and had a medicine pot in her hand. "Master, why are you sitting up?" As soon as Wang Chaoyu entered the room and saw Jiang Yiming sitting cross-legged, she hurriedly called out. She put the medicine pot on the table and quickly walked to Jiang Yiming. With an anxious expression, she said, "Master, quickly lie down. Don't tear your wound." As she spoke, she placed her hand on Jiang Yiming's shoulder, wanting to help him slowly lie down. Jiang Yiming smiled softly. He could feel his disciple's heartfelt concern for him. "All right, don't worry. I'm already is much better." "Master, please don't lie to me. You've received such a serious injury. How can you say that you're fine?" Wang Chaoyu pouted and said with puffy cheeks, "Master, quickly lie down, please." "Xiaoyu, I'm not lying to you." Neither of them backed down as they did this for a while, and Jiang Yiming still refused to lie down. Although Wang Chaoyu was still worried, she also felt that her master's condition seemed to be much better, so she didn't continue forcing him to lie down. "Master, it's alright if you don't want to lie down, but you must drink the medicine." As Wang Chaoyu spoke, she picked up a bowl of black liquid that was the medicine. "Master, let me feed you the medicine." As she said this, Wang Chaoyu scooped up a spoonful of medicine and placed it near Jiang Yiming's mouth. Smelling the strong medicinal flavor, Jiang Yiming did not know whether to laugh or cry. An extremely bitter memory suddenly appeared in his mind. "Xiaoyu, I have recovered. There's no need for me to drink the medicine." "Master, if you really want to recover as soon as possible, you should quickly drink this medicine," Wang Chaoyu said earnestly. Jiang Yiming looked at her and knew that it would be useless no matter what he said. With a light sigh, a powerful burst of spiritual energy suddenly exploded from his body. All the bandages on him scattered in an instant. Wang Chaoyu, who was about to feed the medicine to her master, was caught off guard and was directly pushed back a few steps by the powerful aura. "Master, are you truly recovered?" Wang Chaoyu took a few minutes to look at Jiang Yiming's body, which was as good as new, and finally muttered. Jiang Yiming nodded calmly. Wang Chaoyu still didn't dare to believe it, so she hurriedly exclaimed, "Master, you're really recovered." "That's right, aren't you seeing it?" Jiang Yiming lightly nodded and added, "Not only have I recovered, but I've also broken through to the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm. For real." Hearing this, Wang Chaoyu's face was full of surprise and joy. Then, she recalled the imposing aura of her master just now, and all her doubts were dispelled. "Congratulations, Master. Not only have you recovered so quickly, but your cultivation has also advanced by another step. Now that Master's cultivation is at the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm, those 5th rank forces won't dare to have any ideas towards the Lingyun Sect anymore." "Yes," Jiang Yiming nodded lightly. The strongest person in a 5th rank force was only at the Foundation establishment realm, but his current strength was comparable to those in the core formation realm. If any ignorant 5th rank forces dared to provoke him, he didn't mind killing them off. Sigh. Wang Chaoyu's expression suddenly became gloomy again. They could be unafraid of the 5th rank forces, but the Huiyan Sect was a 3rd rank force. There were quite a few nascent soul realm cultivators in the Huiyan Sect, and there were even more in the core formation realm. If they were unable to gather the spirit stones that they had to offer to their Huiyan Sect within the month, the Lingyun Sect would inevitably be disbanded. When Jiang Yiming saw Wang Chaoyu's sudden change in expression, he couldn't help but be momentarily stunned, but he immediately understood. "Xiaoyu, are you worried about the Huiyan Sect?" "Yes, Master. Although you are already in the late stage of the Foundation establishment realm, still." Wang Chaoyu didn't finish her sentence because she felt if she was too frank she might hurt her master's pride. Jiang Yiming knew what she meant. "It's alright. I've found a way to get enough spirit stones. Don't worry, Xiaoyu." Seeing her master's indifferent radiant smile, Wang Qiaoyu still couldn't relax. She only thought that her master was trying to comfort her. After all, the current Lingyun sect didn't even have 100 low-grade spirit stones. How could they suddenly gather 1,000? Jiang Yiming was quite aware that the current Wang Qiaoyu would never believe him, but what could he do? It wasn't like he could tell her about the system. Right, he decided to leave it. She would naturally believe him when the time came. Jiang Yiming shook his head helplessly and didn't want to dwell on this question anymore. Oh right, where are your two senior brothers? Hearing her master's question, Wang Qiaoyu hurriedly answered, eldest senior brother is still out training and hasn't returned. Second senior brother left the mountains to help get some medicine for master. Jiang Yiming nodded. Through his memories, he knew that his eldest disciple, Ji Lingfei, was forthright and generous. He would often go out to travel and make friends. On the other hand, his second disciple, Yi Yunfan, was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. Although he wasn't good with words, he had a sincere heart. He preferred to use actions to prove himself. An example of him having such a personality was his actions now of leaving the mountain to search for medicine for him. It's been hard on Yunfan, Jiang Yiming said with a bitter smile. Wang Qiaoyu quickly responded, yes, if second senior brother knew that master has already recovered. Before she could finish, her expression suddenly became extremely ugly. Bean-sized sweat trickled down from her forehead. Wang Qiaoyu gritted her teeth as her entire body trembled, and she kept shivering. The sudden change caught Jiang Yiming off guard. He took a big step forward and quickly helped Wang Qiaoyu up as he asked nervously, Xiaoyu, what's wrong? Wang Qiaoyu didn't answer. Her eyes were tightly closed, her whole body was trembling, and she bit her red lips with her white teeth. She looked to be in extreme pain and was feeling very uncomfortable.